My half-brother, 27 meters, doesn't want me, 22F, and my boyfriend, 25 meters, to bring our 3-week-old daughter to my dad's funeral. So, my dad passed away last week. He'd spent the previous 4 in hospital after a stroke, but sadly caught pneumonia there and died. This meant that he never got to meet my boyfriend and I's daughter, who was born whilst he was hospitalized. My boyfriend and I have taken the lead in arranging his funeral and thought that it would be a nice gesture to bring her. However, my half-brother, my dad's only other child, has strong feelings that my daughter shouldn't come because she might ruin the service by crying. I feel like this misses the point of what a funeral should be about though. Interestingly, he hasn't taken much interest in other aspects of the planning and isn't somebody who I liked very much to begin with. Can anybody see a sensible resolution to this? Your kid isn't even vaccinated. You want to bring it into a room full of people. In the middle of a fucking pandemic? Are you crazy? Do not bring the baby. If you can't leave it, don't go. We all have to make concessions during a literal plague. If the baby was 3 months old, then I wouldn't see that much of an issue. Stay in the back with the baby, near the door, and duck out if the baby gets fussy. But 3 weeks old seems risky for the baby. Others more knowledgeable than me have weighed in on the risk factors, and skimming the comments it seems the biggest issue is exposing the baby to potential diseases not yet vaccinated against. There could be other concerns as well, so perhaps consider whether it's a good idea to bring your child anywhere when she's this young. 3 weeks sounds pretty young to take a baby to a large social gathering during a pandemic. Guys, there's literally a pandemic going on. Not the smartest choice to bring a 3-week-old baby to a funeral where she will be exposed to lots of people with an immune system that is already fragile enough as is. I would say that you might not want to have her there, not because of your half-brother, but for yourself. If you're the one that's pretty much taking on the arrangements, you're going to be busy, you're going to be the one a lot of people are going to. You're already going to be super stressed out and have a lot to think about and do. Maybe you can have her there for a little but not the whole time. And I reiterate, this is for you, not him. If he doesn't want to help out with other aspects of arrangements, then he doesn't get a whole lot of say in the matter in my opinion. I was going to say this, but I would only add one thing: since your baby is so young, she might not be ready for the outside world yet. Make sure that you have someone available to take her to somewhere quiet where she can be fed, changed, and held just in case she gets fussy. There is a chance that she sleeps through the entire thing. Newborns are known for sleeping through loud/crowded events with seemingly no issue. My sympathy for your loss, Op. I hope your new daughter reminds you that parental love never dies, it is only passed on. Good luck. Husband hit me for the first time while drunk and doesn't seem to remember. Should I tell him? Husband drinks quite a bit and can get out of control. He at times says hurtful things he probably wouldn't say normally, but nothing abusive. He hit me yesterday morning and ended up sleeping all day. I think he just had a little too much to drink, and I only ended up with a few bruises, so nothing serious. Tonight he asked me why I have bruises and I could see he can't remember what he did and I didn't want to make him feel bad. Should I tell him what he did? If it's happened once, it will happen again. Get out now. I think he just had a little too much to drink. He hit me yesterday morning and ended up sleeping all day. I think he just had a little too much to drink, and I only ended up with a few bruises, so nothing serious. Only a few bruises? Nothing serious? Don't rationalize his abuse. Should I tell him what he did? I'm not an expert, but I would advise against confronting him. Do you have a place you could stay? You should get out of the house. Every time my sister's partner would hit her, he would suddenly not remember it, or he was too drunk. He remembers, and this is just the start, honey. You need an escape plan. My ex conveniently never remembered all the bad things. Think he was just lying, and I believed him for years. Run for your life. I would not bother to confront him. Why? Because 1, either he'll hit you again, or 2, deny everything, or 3, convince you to stay with empty promises and apologies until it happens again. Abusers like your husband always escalate, drunk or not. Seriously concerning that after he hit you you're the one concerned about his feelings. Unbelievable. I am also concerned that him asking what happened could be a fishing expedition. He knows full well he hit you and is testing you to see what you'll say about it and whether he's got away with it. Can I, 30F, ever trust my mum, 63, again after she intentionally put my kids and I into a nasty situation? Throw away because my brother knows my account and I would rather not have my family know I am talking about this on the internet. So I, 30F, have 2 young girls, 6F and 4F. About 2 weeks ago my mum, 63, asked me if I wanted to have a short girls' holiday with her during the October break for 3 days at the holiday cottage she owns with my stepdad, 75, as she knew I was having some big issues and was desperate to get away for a bit. I happily accepted and prepared for the getaway. Here is a very important thing you need to know before I continue with my story. I absolutely detest my stepdad in every single way imaginable. He is a violent, nasty creature who made my childhood a living nightmare, verbally, mentally and physically abusive. Since finally moving out and having kids etc. I have been civil with him since my mum is still married to him and I love my mum so could never cut her out of my life. However, I will avoid spending time with him as much as possible as it feels like I am walking on eggshells with him around. I can't relax and it makes me feel sick with stress. My mum knows this and knows my feelings about him. My mum takes a lot of crap from him and cannot control him very well at all. I honestly do not understand why she is with him and have tried to talk her out of it multiple times. I have a very good, close relationship with my mum and she is very supportive of the kids and I. So the kids and I get in my mum's car, I cannot drive, and get on our way. About 20 minutes into the journey, as you have probably guessed by now, she tells me that stepdad is at the cottage making us dinner. I am furious at this news as I absolutely would not have signed up for this holiday if I had known he would be involved in even one night of it, and she knows this. I feel like she must have known this information before picking me up and should have told me beforehand so I could say no. Tell her I am not happy nor comfortable with this and would like to go home, but she scoffs at me and talks me around to it, telling me to just let him stay one night and he should get the hint and leave tomorrow, and guilt tripping me with oh but the kids would be so disappointed. We stay the night with no arguments apart from me almost jumping at his continual spouting of racist and sexist comments about the people on TV. Yep, he is one of those. And in the morning my feelings have not changed. I also get my period overnight, so I am in a lot of pain with cramps and feeling very fragile. I wait for a quiet moment to talk with my mum. She decides we should go to the beach. Stepdad makes plans to pick up food for dinner at the shop. Once we are in the car with just my mum and the kids, I tell her that I am still not comfortable nor happy having him here and that either he needs to go home or I want to go home. She tells me that I am being unfair as it is also his cottage. I tell her that she is being unfair as she has allowed him to come and knowingly tricked me into coming when she knew I would not be happy with it. She plays the victim stuck in the middle card and I am not having it. She could have surely told him no. It is a girl's holiday, I need the break and support from her to help with my early issues and that he can use the cottage any other time he likes. That would be a normal thing that normal couples should be able to say to each other without any upset or anger. Anyway, so I basically told her in no uncertain terms that she was being incredibly unreasonable. I am not at all comfortable. This was not the deal we had and I wanted her to take me straight home. Instead she starts absolutely screaming at me saying that I was being ungrateful and I was putting her in a bad position with stepdad. She literally put herself in this position. So, instead of taking me and the kids home peacefully and just giving him the excuse of me being very unwell with my period, which I was, and I told her to just tell him if she needed a reason, she then proceeds to drive us to the shop where he is shopping, tells me and kids to wait in the car and goes in to talk to him. I already knew this meant that there would be a big fight, so I am instantly getting severe PTSD from being in these situations from childhood and I am trapped as I cannot drive. I am relying on my mum to get me home, and I have my kids in the car who are already upset as they know me and their grandma are fighting. I have absolutely no control, so I cannot trigger my flight response. Stepdad comes to my door and is in full-on disgusting swearing / screaming / spitting in face / poking his finger in my chest mode, and of course I go into mama bear fight mode and start yelling back, trying to shut him down. All of this is right beside the car so the kids see / hear it all. She knew this would be the result. She knew what she was putting me and the kids into. He tells me that I am ungrateful, that I am using his cottage and I need to leave, and that I can get a taxi home, 100 miles from my home by the way, with 2 young kids. In amongst the insults and swearing, I finally get him away from me and beg my mum to get me back to the cottage to pick up my stuff immediately and take me home. She had had 3 chances to avoid it blowing up like that and had ignored them all and actually put me and my kids in harm's way. She is still absolutely playing the victim card and saying I was the problem. I am home now after an awful car ride back where I cried the whole time and absolutely laid it all out to her step by step exactly how this was of her making, as she refused to respect my wishes. The whole time of course she is angry with me and blaming me for upsetting my stepdad. The kids are very upset and shaken up about the whole thing. I wanted some feedback on this and how I can even trust her again after she knowingly manipulated me into a situation she knew I would not be comfortable with, where I had 0 ways of escape by myself, ignoring my objections and then intentionally putting me into the firing line in front of my children instead of taking the non-violent or dramatic option that I presented her with, take me home. Tell him VL. I also want to know if you guys feel like I was out of line at any point, as it is his cottage and my mum can't control my stepdad much at all, and if there are ways I could have dealt with the situation better so that the kids would not have gotten as upset. I do also bear in mind that it was their holiday too that they were very excited for, and I could have just sucked it up instead of sticking to my guns, then never ever gone on a holiday with her again. So I do feel like I am a bad mother just now. Too long didn't read. Mum took me on a girls only holiday with my young kids under false pretenses as she knew my stepdad, whom I hate, would be there, refused to take me seriously when I told her I wanted to go home, and threw me and my kids into an explosive situation with him. You're absolutely not out of line. She knew you didn't want to be around him and disrespected you by forcing you to anyway. It doesn't matter that it's his cabin. She knew you wouldn't have gone if you knew he would be there. She lied to you by omission. Your mum has shown you time and again that she values this man over you. She is still with him despite the fact he abused you. I absolutely agree with other comments to cut them both off. She won't ever give you what you need from a mother. My mum is usually loving and giving and kind. Well, actually she's not top. She knew precisely what she was taking you and the kids into. Presumably her life with him is shit. She thought that if she took you guys along, she would only be getting 25% of the crap instead of the usual 100%. Give her a wide berth. If she wants to come to see you, sans stepdad, fine. Otherwise, live your own life. Good luck. You're giving your mom excuses and you need to stop right now. She allowed you to be abused for decades and did not do anything about it. Worse, she is still with him. Then, she tricked you into going to him. Then, she told him in front of you what you told her. All of this happening in front of your 2 kids. She knew exactly what she was doing the entire time. No, darling. Your mother is just as vile and disgusting as your stepdad, and you need to cut her out of your life immediately. For your kids' sake. Exactly 20 minutes into the trip, she could have turned around. Instead of using the opposite, which is true, to take you home, she told him and they caused a scene on the street. He is vile. Go no contact. If you see her again, close to home in a public place, that you can leave quickly if things are not to your taste.